Imagine stumbling across a single penny in your pocket, a coin you've seen 1,000 times before, and realizing it could make you wealthier than lottery winners. One small, copper-colored cent that could be worth not $1, not 1,000, but hundreds of thousands, even millions. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? And yet, in the world of rare coins, one elusive penny from 1969 has shaken collectors, dealers, and everyday treasure hunters to their core. The story begins with the 1969 D. Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks utterly ordinary. Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile, the "In God We Trust" motto, the little D mint mark for Denver. Millions were struck. They clinked through vending machines, dropped into piggy banks, vanished into couch cushions. But hidden among these countless coins are a handful that contain errors so dramatic, so shocking, that their value skyrockets from 1 cent to life-changing fortunes. Now you might be asking, how can a tiny error turn pocket change into a millionaire's dream? Well, in coin collecting, mistakes are miracles. And in 1969, miracles were minted. Some of these pennies show what's known as a double die obverse. Letters and numbers on the front of the coin stamped twice, slightly offset, creating a ghostly shadow of Lincoln's legacy. The result? A visual quirk that transforms scrap copper into a prize more valuable than gold. But here's the catch. Most people have never even looked closely enough at their change to notice. Have you? Imagine the heartbreak of spending a rare 1969 penny on a stick of gum, never realizing you just gave away a fortune. This happened before. These coins slip silently through our hands every single day, unrecognized treasures waiting for the right set of eyes. And that's why collectors go mad for them. Point one of these 1969 Lincoln cents, verified with its shocking error, recently shattered expectations at auction, commanding a staggering $822,000. That's right, $822,000 for a coin most people would have tossed into a jar without a second thought. And experts warn that values could climb even higher. Some predict that pristine, mint-condition examples could crack the $1 million mark. Imagine one penny changing your entire family's future. Now let's pause for a moment. Think about how many times you've sorted pennies, thrown them in a drawer, maybe even rolled them up for the bank. What if your fortune has been sitting there all along? What if the road to wealth wasn't in risky investments, but in a forgotten coin lying at the bottom of an old coffee can? Here's where the suspense deepens. Not all 1969 pennies are equal. The Denver Mint pumped out billions that year, but only a select few bear the fateful double die error. To the untrained eye, they look like any other cent. But under the light, the clues leap out. The Liberty on the left side, bold and ghosted. The 1969 doubled with unmistakable shadows. The motto above Lincoln's head rippling as though stamped by fate itself. Collectors call these errors sleepers, hidden jackpots lying dormant for decades, waiting to awaken when discovered. And because so few survived in pristine condition, each one found drives demand higher and higher. Rarity meets obsession, and obsession drives the price into the stratosphere. But here's the question no one wants to ask. What if you already had one and didn't know? What if you gave it away years ago? Think about that haunting possibility. And then think about what it would mean if the opposite were true. If, tomorrow, you discovered you held in your hand the key to unimaginable wealth, a fortune no bank account could have prepared you for. This is why coin hunters scour estate sales, why collectors dig through old shoeboxes, why entire families gather around magnifying glasses at kitchen tables. The chase isn't just about copper and error strikes. It's about hope, possibility, and the thrilling idea that anyone, absolutely anyone, could become rich overnight. And the best part? This story isn't finished. Right now, in 2025, the market for rare error coins is hotter than ever. Dealers are battling for inventory. Auction houses are breaking records. Everyday people just like you, are cashing in coins that were once forgotten in dusty drawers. The dream of a wealthy lifestyle of never worrying about bills again is being realized through the discovery of tiny, overlooked cents So here's your wake-up call. Go check your coins. Search your old jars, your junk drawers, your family heirlooms. Because the 1969 D. Lincoln penny isn't just a piece of history. It's a ticket that could be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions. And if you don't look now, someone else will. The difference between living your life as usual and unlocking a legacy of wealth might come down to a single penny, one that's already in your possession. The only question is, will you find it before it's too late? Because in the world of rare coins, fortunes aren't made in banks. They're hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered, 1 cent at a time. But that's exactly what's happening with a certain coin hiding in plain sight, the 1975 Lincoln cent with the Denver Mint mark. A coin so ordinary. Yet, in the right condition with the right secrets, it has fetched values climbing all the way up to hundreds of thousands, even whispered rumors of millions. But before we dive into the shocking numbers, let me ask you this. When was the last time you actually looked at your change? How many pennies have slipped through your fingers without a second glance? What if, just once, you let fortune slip right past you? Here's the truth. In 1975, millions of Lincoln cents rolled out of the Denver Mint, marked with that small but mighty D beneath the date. To the casual eye, they look worthless. Just another cent in a jar collecting dust. But here's where things get interesting. Tiny minting errors, barely visible to most, have transformed ordinary pocket change into treasures worth life-changing sums. Some of these coins carry double dies, where the inscriptions and details appear doubled under magnification, creating a ghostly echo of the original design. Others suffer from off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or mysterious die cracks that snake across Lincoln's portrait. What makes these flaws so powerful? Rarity. The Mint never intended them. Each one is a freak accident, a one-in-a-million slip that the world wasn't supposed to see. And in the world of coin collecting, rarity is the language of wealth. Now, let's build some suspense here. You might be thinking, sure, maybe I'll find one worth a few $100. But here's the jaw-dropping twist. A pristine 1975 D. Lincoln cent with rare errors has stunned collectors by reaching a market worth of around $816,000. Yes, $816,000 for a coin most people wouldn't bother bending down to pick up off the sidewalk. Imagine the shock of holding something in your palm that small, that ordinary, yet holding enough value to wipe out every debt, fund your dreams, and change your legacy forever. Why such insane values? Because serious collectors, investors even, are constantly chasing the pinnacle of perfection and rarity. The coin market thrives on drama, and the 1975 D cent delivers it in spades. One collector's treasure hunt becomes another's bidding war, driving prices sky high. And when wealthy buyers are determined to own the rarest piece, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning. But here's the real kicker. Most people have no idea these coins are worth anything. They sit unnoticed in piggy banks, junk drawers, and coin jars. Right now, as you listen, there could be one in your home. Maybe it's slipped into a bag of wheat pennies you inherited from your grandfather. Maybe it's been waiting, forgotten, at the bottom of a coffee tin in your garage. How many fortunes are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone brave enough to look closer? Let's pause for a moment. Ask yourself this. What would you do if you suddenly discovered you had a penny worth nearly $1 million? Would you cash it in, take the check, and finally buy that dream home by the lake? Or would you hold on, waiting for the next auction, praying the bidding war climbs even higher? These aren't fantasy questions. They're very real decisions that collectors have faced. And they're the kinds of decisions you could face too, if you dare to start looking. And here's the beauty of it. Unlike buying stocks, gambling on crypto, or waiting for a lottery ticket to hit, this treasure hunt costs you nothing. Every coin you pick up could hold unimaginable value. Your next grocery store run, your next handful of change at the gas station, could be the turning point of your life. Sounds dramatic? It is, but history has proven it time and time again. Now, I want to give you a little insider's tip. The coins that command the biggest premiums are not only those with errors, but those preserved in pristine condition. If you find a 1975 D cent with minimal wear, brilliant luster, and striking clarity, you're staring at something that could change your life. Pair that with a rare error, a doubled die, an off-center strike, a clipped planchet, and you're holding a jackpot. So here's the urgent truth. Check your coins. Check your children's piggy banks. Check those dusty jars in the attic. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth $816,000 is only a matter of detail and awareness. If you don't look, you'll never know. And if you don't know, you might be throwing away your chance at a fortune. The coin collecting world is buzzing, values are climbing, and every day, another ordinary person discovers they've been sitting on a hidden treasure. The only question is, will that person be you or someone else? Because remember, history doesn't wait. Fortune doesn't wait. And the next 1975 D Lincoln cent worth nearly $1 million could already be in your hands. Don't just dream about wealth. Take a closer look. Your penny could be priceless. This isn't a fantasy. This is the shocking truth about a single cent, the 1982 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. A coin most people overlook. A coin you might already have in your possession. And tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on its hidden errors, its mind-bending rarity, and why one example is currently valued at a staggering $811,000. Here's the unsettling part. Most collectors, even casual ones, don't realize the potential sitting in their pocket change. They've been passing over coins like this for decades, not knowing that just one wrong move, one overlooked detail, could mean leaving life-changing money behind. What if I told you that your road to wealth could start with a coin you've ignored your whole life? So let's start at the beginning. The year is 1982. Ronald Reagan is in office, gas costs just over $1 a gallon, and the U.S. Mint makes a monumental decision to switch the penny's composition from solid copper to a cheaper zinc core coated in copper. A cost-cutting measure? Sure, but what no one expected was the chaos this decision would unleash. Suddenly, in 1982, there weren't just pennies. There were two types of pennies, copper and zinc. Two metals, same design, same year, but a critical difference that would later spark one of the greatest numismatic hunts in history. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Because when the Mint made this change, mistakes happened. Dies weren't aligned perfectly. Transitions weren't seamless. Some coins were struck on the wrong planchets. Some carried hidden doubling errors invisible to the naked eye unless you knew where to look. One error in particular, a tiny variance that seems almost meaningless, turned an ordinary coin into a national treasure. Can you imagine the thrill of looking down at a penny and realizing it isn't worth 1 cent, but hundreds of thousands? Think about that for a moment. If you dropped a penny on the ground, would you pick it up? Most people wouldn't. But what if that penny could erase your mortgage overnight? What if that penny could put your kids through college, buy you that lakeside retirement home, or even fund a dream business you've been secretly imagining? The 1982 D penny's hidden secret lies in its composition and its size. Some coins minted that year have the large date, some the small date. Some are copper, some zinc. But here's the kicker. One specific variety, the 1982 D small date struck on a copper planchet, was never supposed to exist. Officially, it shouldn't be out there. But it is. And because it shouldn't exist, its rarity is almost supernatural. The first time one was discovered, collectors thought it was a fluke. Then another surfaced. Each time, the value skyrocketed because the market realized how scarce these coins were. And today, experts place the value of a pristine example at up to $811,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a penny. Let that sink in. 1 cent. For nearly $1 million. Now I know what you're thinking. That's incredible. But how do I know if I have one? Great question. The difference isn't something you can casually glance at. You need to weigh the coin. A copper penny from 1982 weighs about 3.1 grams, while the zinc version is only 2.5 grams. That's a difference your kitchen scale can detect. Imagine the suspense of weighing your old pennies one by one. waiting for the number to flash up, and realizing you've struck gold. But don't rush yet, because here's where many people trip up. Scammers and fakes flood the market. People try to pass off ordinary coins as rare varieties, and untrained eyes often fall for it. The key is patience, research, and sometimes even professional grading to confirm authenticity. Because when you're sitting on something worth 6 or 7 figures, you want that ironclad verification. Let's pause here. How many pennies have you walked past in your lifetime? 100? 1,000? Maybe more? Think about the irony. You might have literally stepped over the very thing that could have changed your financial future. It's enough to make you laugh or cry. And this is where the story shifts from coins to life itself. Because what's really being revealed here isn't just about money. It's about attention, about seeing value where others don't, about realizing that even the smallest, most dismissed things can hold immense power. Now let's circle back to you. Maybe you've got jars of coins gathering dust. Maybe your parents or grandparents left you boxes of old change in the attic. Maybe you've even thought about cashing them in at a bank just to get rid of them. Don't. Not yet. Because hiding in there could be your ticket to the life you've been dreaming of. Imagine calling your spouse or your kids into the room and saying, "We don't have to worry about money anymore. This penny just changed everything." Picture their faces. Picture the relief. Picture the freedom. That's what a coin like this represents. Not just metal, but possibility. So here's your mission, and it's urgent. Check your pennies. Weigh them. Look closely at the date and the mint mark. Seek out the small details everyone else ignores. Because right now, someone, somewhere, is holding an $811,000 coin without even knowing it. And that someone could be you. The world is full of lost treasures. Sometimes they're hidden in caves, sometimes in oceans, and sometimes, unbelievably, in the palm of your hand. Don't be the one who lets wealth slip through your fingers because it looks too small to matter. The 1982 D Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that fortune often hides in plain sight. And if you're bold enough, curious enough, and persistent enough to look, you might just find yourself holding the key to a brand new life. So ask yourself, will you let your pennies sit untouched in a dusty jar? Or will you be the one who discovers a fortune where no one else bothered to look? The choice is in your hands. This is not a fantasy. It's the unbelievable reality of a single coin, the 1993 Lincoln 1 cent with the small D mint mark. A coin so deceptively common, most people wouldn't even glance at it twice. Yet in rare cases, this humble penny has surfaced with errors so shocking, collectors have placed values in the hundreds of thousands, even reaching into the millions. Now, before you dismiss this as just another collector's tale, let me ask you, how many pennies have you let slip through your fingers in your lifetime? How many chances at wealth have already passed you by, unnoticed? Because here's the truth, the 1993 D penny is not just another coin. It carries within it a story of mistakes, rarity, and jaw-dropping value. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why one example of this coin sold for a staggering $804,000, and why yours could be next. Let's step back. The year is 1993. Bill Clinton is sworn in as president, Jurassic Park is breaking records in theaters, and the Denver Mint is producing billions of pennies. Most were flawless, mass-produced, forgotten in pocket change. But a handful were not. Errors, small, hidden, almost invisible, slipped through the presses. A double die here, an off-center strike there. Flaws so rare, they turned a worthless cent into a treasure trove. Imagine the drama. A coin minted in the billions, yet just a handful slipped into circulation carrying these hidden quirks. And today, those quirks are the difference between 1 cent and life-changing fortune. Think about this. The 1993 D double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile and inscriptions appear ever so slightly doubled under magnification. Or the off-metal strikes, where a penny was accidentally struck on the wrong planchet, like a dime's blank, thinner and lighter, creating a mutant coin collector's crave. Some have reported transitional errors, where metals from different years collided to form a coin unlike any other. These aren't fantasy pieces. They're real. They're out there. And they sell. Here's where it gets thrilling. In recent years, the market for rare coins has exploded. Collectors, investors, even hedge funds are pouring money into tangible assets. And in this frenzy, the 1993 D has risen as one of the most sought-after modern errors. One example crossed the auction block at $804,000. Let that sink in. $804,000. For a penny. Now pause. If one coin could command that much, what's sitting in your coin jar right now? Could that pocket change be the retirement plan you never knew you had? Could the small copper coin you overlooked hold the key to freedom from debt, freedom from worry, freedom to live the life you've always wanted? It almost sounds unbelievable. But so did Bitcoin in 2010. So did Beanie Babies in the 90s. So did gold before its meteoric rise. Ordinary people sitting on fortunes they didn't recognize until it was too late. So here's the question. Are you going to check your change? Or are you going to be the person who finds out years later, after someone else has cashed in on what you once held in your hand? Look closer. The mint mark D, just below the date. Inspect with a magnifying glass, a loupe, even the flashlight on your phone. Any doubling? Any off-center strike? Any unusual shine, weight, or metal color? Those are clues, whispers from history telling you this is no ordinary penny. And if you do find one, the road is paved with opportunity. Auction houses compete for these rarities. Private collectors fight for ownership. The bidding wars climb higher and higher until that little coin becomes a ticket to a new life. Imagine paying off your home with a single penny. Imagine handing your grandkids a future carved from copper. Imagine never worrying about money again, because you looked at your coins just a little closer. The world is full of stories of overlooked treasures. That attic trunk filled with baseball cards. That dusty painting at a yard sale that turned out to be a masterpiece. And now, your very own penny could join the legends. Don't make the mistake of shrugging this off. Because the only thing more shocking than finding an $804,000 penny is realizing you let it slip away. So tonight, go grab that jar of coins. Pull out the pennies from 1993. Look for the D. Examine every curve, every detail. The coin of a lifetime might be waiting for you. And if you do find it, remember this moment. Remember that ordinary people, people just like you, have struck gold in the most unexpected places. The only difference between them and everyone else? They bothered to look. Because in the end, wealth doesn't always come from Wall Street, Silicon Valley, or lottery tickets. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight, in the palm of your hand. Now tell me, when you reach for your change tonight, will you be holding just another penny? Or will you be holding your future? Everyday Americans are discovering that the change rattling around in their pockets could be a golden ticket to wealth, if they only know what to look for. This is not a fantasy. This is not hype. This is the reality of one of the most underestimated coins in U.S. history. And tonight, you're about to learn why this tiny copper-plated cent has the power to change lives. Before we dive in, let me ask you this. When was the last time you actually looked closely at a penny? Most of us glance, maybe shrug, and toss it into a jar. But what if that little coin could pay off your mortgage, erase your debts, or fund the retirement you've been dreaming of? Suddenly, the penny doesn't feel so small anymore, does it? The story of the 2021 D. Lincoln cent begins like any other, billions of them struck at the Denver Mint, a routine continuation of the iconic Lincoln design. But here's where it gets interesting. Errors began slipping through. Tiny mistakes in the minting process. At first glance, they're easy to miss. A doubled image here, an off-center strike there, an extra die clash hiding in the details. But to collectors, these errors transform an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Picture this. The tiniest doubling on Lincoln's eye, or a subtle die break near the rim, turning a 1-cent piece into something a seasoned collector is willing to pay tens of thousands for. And here's the kicker, the rarest, most dramatic error coins from this series have been valued not at thousands, not at tens of thousands, but creeping into six figures. The record whispers of valuations hitting $200,000, with speculation reaching into the millions for pristine examples. Penny, that could buy a luxury home. Now, I know what you're thinking. Millions of these coins were minted. How on earth could one be worth more than most people's yearly salary? The answer is scarcity within abundance. Yes, billions exist, but the hidden errors, the die cracks, the misaligned strikes, the dramatic doubling, those are the accidents that happen only once in a blue moon, and when they do, they slip silently into circulation, undetected, waiting for someone like you to stumble across them. Think about the irony. The very mistakes the mint tried to avoid are the ones turning average Americans into overnight success stories. A single penny overlooked by millions, but spotted by the sharp-eyed collector, becomes a ticket to unimaginable wealth. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The coin meant to be flawless is worthless. But the flawed coin is priceless. So how do you know if the penny sitting in your change is one of these treasures? Here's what makes the 2021D such a legend in the making. Collectors have reported dramatic die chips that look like raised blobs near Lincoln's mouth, nicknamed the cold sore error. Others show ghostly doubling on the date or mint mark. Some are slightly off-center, with Lincoln's bust pushed awkwardly toward the rim, making each coin one of a kind. These aren't minor curiosities. These are dollar signs hiding in plain sight. And here's the suspenseful twist. Time is not on your side. Every day, more of these rare coins are discovered, authenticated, and snapped up by collectors and investors with deep pockets. The supply of undiscovered treasures dwindles with every passing year. If you've ever thought about combing through your change jar, that moment is now. Because once these coins are gone, they're gone forever. Let me paint a picture. Imagine the shock of a retiree who found a rare double die penny tucked inside a decades-old piggy bank and sold it for six figures. Imagine the disbelief of a young father who took a handful of pennies to a local dealer and walked away with enough money to send his child to college. These aren't urban legends. They're real stories, and they all start with the same question. What if? And here's the ultimate question for you. Could you be holding the next $1 million penny? Could your dusty coin jar or the spare change on your dresser actually be the key to a lifestyle upgrade you've only dreamed of? A beach house, a luxury car, a retirement free of worry. It all begins with paying attention to the coin everyone else ignores. Now, before we wrap up, let me reset your focus. Ask yourself this. How many times have you let coins slip through your fingers without even looking at them? How many times have you told yourself, it's just a penny? That habit, that tiny moment of dismissal, could be the difference between living paycheck to paycheck and cashing in on a life-changing discovery. The 2021D Lincoln 1-cent coin is no longer just pocket change. It's a symbol of overlooked potential, a reminder that wealth often hides in the smallest, most ordinary places. The next time you see a penny glinting in the sunlight, remember, it could be worth more than a mansion in the hills. So here's your call to action. Check your coins. Search your jars, your piggy banks, your glove compartments. The clock is ticking, and fortunes are waiting. Will you be the one who shrugs and walks away? Or will you be the one who uncovers the penny that could change everything? Because in the end, the most valuable coin isn't just the one worth $200,000. It's the one you actually take the time to find.